Today in the Smuggler's Room, we're in the mood for two things: a new room build and giving a home to this most excellent piece of movie propage. That's coming up. What's up, you awesome geeks? I'm Brian and welcome to the Smuggler's Room. This week, this chubby geek is back with another room build episode. I know, it's been way too long. But honestly, there's a piece today that I've been wanting to incorporate into our room for far too long. Today we're going to build a display for Trooper Trent's Marksman-H Remote Training Ball. Let's have a look at it. Our friend Trent has provided us with the most impressive piece of Star Wars propage that I've seen. This Marksman-H Training Remote is the very same unit that Luke first practices against in the Millennium Falcon on their way to the destroyed planet of Alderaan. This particular piece of awesomeness is made with exact detail by Trent himself, and it truly is an amazing piece. Alone, this prop is wonderful, but then Trent has to take it to another level by providing a base station that actually floats the remote. This is by far the most difficult aspect of this piece, but once you get the hang of floating it, it gets easier and easier. Now, we'll have a link in the description for Trooper Trent's Etsy shop where you can purchase your own kit if you're interested. He's an amazing maker and provides an excellent kit. And just so you have a bit more information about it, this kit comes with everything you need, minus the paint and glue. It also comes with a complete tutorial video series that takes you through the entire build process step by step in true Bob Ross format, as Trent puts it. So if you're interested, there's links below in the description and you can get a fully functional kit from Trooper Trent. As for us, we need to build the perfect vessel to display this in our room build project. So let's get to it. Most of this project is fairly simple construction, and it starts with a box for the training remote to live in. I made it from MDF, and it was shaped by creating a large piece of cardboard that I set in the space where it's going to live, and then marked out the shape underneath. And since I haven't mentioned it yet, this is going to be installed above our Falcon-inspired bench, which seems like the perfect environment for all to see it. Now, after a quick coat of paint to get this party started, I selected an assortment of PVC parts for the interior from my ever-growing bin of random PVC. This might be a good time to clue you into the design of this project. You see, with the basement project, we're turning the room into the interior of a ship. That's no secret by now. But one thing that's not been discussed is that it's also going to be a display room for collectibles and props. That said, I didn't want the room full of shelves and cabinets. Instead, we want to create interesting areas that are made for specific props and collectibles, but that also feels natural, you know? I mean, as natural as it is for a 40-plus-year-old guy to build a spaceship in his basement to store his toys, which may or may not be normal depending on who you ask. Well, normal or not, I want this prop to have a great spot in the room, right behind the bench. I also wanted it to be situated in what could be an access hatch of some part of the ship. So the design is to have this ball situated in a cubby surrounded by exposed pipes and other elements you might find on the inner workings of a ship. Did I just nerd out so hard you're consider moving on to another channel that builds birdhouses for homeless pigeons? Well, let's just say simply, I'm building a geeked out display cabinet for a piece of movie propage, and we'll leave it at that. Interesting note, the floor of this box is covered with leftover MDF that I laser cut for my paint booth. These are the negatives from that project that I repurposed. We're constantly trying to waste as little material as possible, and these worked great for this project. Okay, the next part of this project deserves a little time out. I want to show you where some of these really cool parts actually came from. This is the inside of a CRT rear projection television. And on the back, behind the lenses are 1, 2, 3 of those strange looking pieces that we're using in this project. Now, you can see right here that there's still a bulb in place for this. This is the red, green, and blue channels. These are the bulbs and the housings for those. On the front, you have a red, green, and blue lens. So not to get too in the weeds, but basically with old CRT projectors and CRT rear projection televisions, you had a red, green, and blue, and that's what gave you the color combination to give you your full colored image. So like we're always saying, take different things apart. And if you can get your hands on one of these, you'll find a multitude of awesome parts and pieces. And by the way, Brian family, thank you very much. That's where we got this that we're going to use for this project. Son of a bantha, nothing fancy, just a little bit of heat sinks. Okay, so these guys were made for a completely different purpose than I'm using them here. I chose to make them into lights. They are in fact arcade buttons. I bought them cheap for another project and didn't use them, so I modified them here because they fit perfectly. Friends don't let friends. Spray paint with cold paint. And by the way, for those that watched our paint booth build, I'm loving it. Though I should absolutely wear my respirator. Thank Ferric! Nothing fancy for these LEDs. The blue lights will always be on. So they're pre-wired LEDs connected to a 12-volt power supply. Links in the description below. I did a quick laser cut for the front frame and Trooper Trent's logo so that anybody asks, they'll know where we got it. Thanks again, Trent. Now the blue lights inside will be static, never changing, but I did want some motion of light inside the top of the cabinet that I can control both the motion and the color. So we created a channel in the lid that we can recess controllable LED strips. These connect up to an Arduino and that gives us control of the strip and creates movement inside the box. Now, I'm not going to dive into the specifics of the programming of these LED strips. KamuiCosplay has an excellent tutorial on their channel that walks you through step by step, and I'll leave a link for you below. But what I will say is it's a very simple install, and modifying the code for this is also pretty easy. Just follow what they show you on their channel and you'll be cruising in no time. take time once again to thank all of our amazing members over at the Smugglers Guild on Patreon. We often say that each of you keep the Smugglers Room going and these projects coming. Your support and engagement keeps us motivated, and we can't thank you enough. If you're interested in supporting the channel, getting behind the scenes content, digital files, and more that we have coming this year, then consider following the link and joining the Guild. Thank you all for your constant support. Have you ever used this trick? I'm impatient, and that means I can't even wait for hot glue to set. So a little can of air on its end will release a bit of the liquid inside, which is a mixture of nitrogen and other gases. Now, you don't want to go crazy with this, and don't get it on your skin. Be cautious. It's just one of those tricks I've used for years, but do it carefully. At this stage, there's only one thing left to do, and that's install the full kit where it's going to live. And Trent, my friend, I will have you know I got the ball to float on its first shot in this new space, and that will never likely happen again. Getting this gift from our friend Trent installed was a personal thrill, and I hope we did this great prop and Trent justice with our install. I think the box and all the details came out great, and I'm really pleased with how this looks. Thank you again, Trent, for your generosity, and we hope all of you follow the link in the description to Trooper Trent's Etsy store and pick up your own training remote. The rest of this corner, yeah, it needs a lot of work, and once it's complete, I know it's going to have a great overall look. We're going to tackle each section as its own episode, and we have some really fun aspects that we can't wait to show you. So make sure you're subscribed and you hit the notification bell, because you're not going to want to miss the next time we build something out of nothing.